This is the only video you need to watch to get started with Git and GitHub. Getting started with installing Git. So just go ahead and search for download Git. Click on the first link you get and download depending on the platform you are using. Here I am on Windows, so we'll download one for that and then install it as you install any other application. And by the way, everything I am showing here will be almost same for Windows, Mac and Linux. So once Git is installed, go ahead and launch your terminal with administration permission or sudo if you are on Linux or Mac. Here I am using Windows terminal. You can also use CMD or command prompt as well. And if I type Git and enter, it's working. Now we need to set up GitHub with our local machine so that we can push our local repo to GitHub. For that, go to github.com and create an account. I already have one, so we'll log into that. And by the way, congrats if you just created your first GitHub account. Now we have to connect this GitHub account with our local machine. For that, go back to terminal or CMD and execute following with me. Git config -- global user.name and your GitHub username. And to know your GitHub username, go to GitHub, click on this icon, and this right here is your GitHub username. Just copy that, get back to terminal and paste it. Here we are basically saying to Git that, hey, this is my username. Same we need to do for email also. Git config -- global user.email. And here we cannot use the email we used to create GitHub account, as GitHub doesn't allow that. Instead, GitHub provides an email which we can use here. So to get that email, go to your GitHub account, click on the icon right here, go to settings, email, and copy this email address right here. Paste that and hit enter. And now we need to set up SSH keys so that we can connect our GitHub account. And here the steps may differ depending on the platform you are using, but GitHub has amazing documentation for this. Here I am using Windows right now, so we'll click on that, and from here copy this command, get back to terminal and paste that. Replace this email from the email you got from GitHub and hit enter. It will ask some questions, answer them as you need, or just press enter to use defaults. Now again, get back to the documentation and copy the next command right here. Back to terminal and paste that. Now execute ssh-add c:// users/your username /.ssh/ and the key, which should be this if you use defaults. And now the final step, adding these keys to GitHub. So we need to get the keys. For that, execute type, which is same as cat command on Linux or Mac, and this path with .pub extension pipe clip. This should copy the key. Next, we need to go to GitHub and click on this icon, settings, SSH and GPG keys. And here click on add new key, give a name to it, and here paste the key we copied. Save that and we are done. If you go back to the terminal and execute ssh-t git iterate github.com to test the connection, yes to continue, and it's working. Now let's create a local Git repository and then we'll push it to GitHub. So we'll create a directory, cd and the directory name. Now we can use git init, which will basically make this folder a Git repository. Next, let's quickly add a file, and if we do git status, you can see it's untracked, and that's because we haven't added that into Git. To do so, execute git add and the file name, or you can just do dot, which will basically add all the files. We also need to commit it, git commit -m and any message here. For now, we just say initial commit. Now we can push this repo to GitHub. But before that, if we do git branch, we have master. But GitHub uses main branch. So we can just rename this master to main. And now it's main branch. Next, head over to github.com, click on create a repository, give it a name. You can select if you want to keep it public or private. Then just click on create. And here click on SSH as we are using SSH setup and copy the SSH URL. Get back to terminal and execute git remote add origin and paste the URL. You can check that with git remote -v. And finally, to push this, git push -u origin main. And now if you go to GitHub and refresh the page, we have our file here. Now a quick summary: if you create more files or make any changes, you can just add it, commit it with a message and then just push it. And that's how you get started with Git and GitHub.